Morning. Welcome to training camp. Good to be here. A couple of non-football related items kind of before we get started. Certainly be remiss if didn't acknowledge, what went on with the flooding there in the middle of the state, a few weeks ago. I'm sure a number of people have been affected, a number of people that we all know, you all know, probably been affected in some capacity. It's devastating, honestly, and to see the support that people have received from not only the Texans but throughout the state of Texas. It's kind of heartwarming. Kind of puts everything in perspective. In addition, certainly thoughts and prayers to the Brayman family over his passing. Even though I wasn't around Brian, definitely distinctly remember his career, the impact that he had on the Texans. I know he was a player that we had to count for in a kicking game, but there's a great example of a player wasn't drafted, made the most of his opportunities. Lasted 7-8 years, whatever it was, and then to be lost at 38 years old. Honestly, puts everything in perspective. What we're doing here is important, but in the end, it's really not that important. So it doesn't really matter. Football is football, but life takes on, I would say, more significance. Is a lot bigger than any of us in this room, and anybody within this organization, anything that we do on the field. So certainly remiss if I didn't share a few thoughts there. On a lighter note. Congratulations to the Austin girls team there, the Houston Texans flag championship. So I think at some point we'll probably see them around here at some point. But it just goes to show you the growth of not only our sport, but the interest in flag football, kids of all levels, all ages, boys, girls. So it's kind of cool to see that. So there's definitely significant growth. Don't ask me about the Olympics, what's going to happen in 2028. So we'll leave that one alone for now. But just kind of on a personal level, fortunate to be going into year 25. Very grateful for the opportunity that I have on a day-to-day basis to be a part of this organization, be part of the NFL, to be able to contribute in some small capacity. It certainly means a lot. Don't take it lightly. We're excited to get started. Good opportunity for our team. A lot of work in front of us. 20 practices, 3 preseason games, and then we open up against one of the best teams in the league in the Rams. So a lot of work to do. Had a good spring. The team's in a good spot. I think we have a pretty good football team, but in the end, it's going to come down to how well we execute, in games. So, with that, certainly take some questions and go from there. Yeah, kind of working through that. Kind of let the legal process kind of take care of itself. We've been in contact with the league. We'll work with the league. We'll be compliant on our end. We'll do the best we can. So I think it's day to day, but kind of let that process kind of take care of itself, and whatever the outcome is, we'll handle it accordingly.
Nick, the Texans have never had a guy with Damon Arnett's arrest record. What it meant to the thought process of signing him?
Yeah, sure. A lot of thought goes into it, a lot of conversation. I think you take all the information into consideration. You go through a pretty extensive vetting process, which we did. So I think where Damon is now relative to where he was earlier in his career is at a different point. And you just are honest about those conversations. I think Damon's trying to do the right things, try to put himself in a position to take advantage of his opportunities. We're inclined, and if we feel it's appropriate, to give somebody a second chance. We'll see how it goes. Damon's got to earn his opportunity, but he's been good to work with. He's had a good attitude. He's had a good approach. So we've always taken the approach, regardless of what's happened in the past, regardless of how grave or the gravity of the situation or what it is, understand what it is. And then when a player walks in our building, they kind of have a clean slate, and they're starting from scratch. So I think it's important just to be honest. Had conversations with the McNairs and about his situation. So I'm not trying to hide anything. So we just kind of take it case by case and try to do the best we can with the information, the opportunities that are in front of us.
In regards to Jimmy, where is he in the building now?
Yeah, Jimmy's here. He reported for training camp, so he's around. So physically wasn't going to be able to do much anyways. So kind of take it day by day, and we'll see what the outcome is.
What is the approach with Joe Mixon? Obviously, the season's a long way away to get him back in. Just your thoughts on the team potentially having Joe?
Yeah, I'd say a lot of players. It's really every player is a little bit different. So whatever their situation is, wherever they are medically, we'll kind of take it one day at a time. I'm not going to put any timetables on anything, so we'll deal with it. We have 90 players that are here. Some are able to practice, some aren't. At some point, they'll be able to practice. So As far as what it looks like once the regular season starts, probably a long way away from that. So I think it's important for everybody to go out there and kind of establish their level of play, their performance, take advantage of their opportunities. This camp is going to be about competition. I mean, that's what it's going to be about. The roster will kind of sort itself out, but like I mentioned a little bit earlier, 20 practices, 3 preseason games, try to get a good evaluation of the players we feel we need to get evaluation of, and then put ourselves into position really with the focus. I mean, again, the Rams are one of the best football teams in the league, so it's going to be a big challenge in front of us. We understand what that is, so there's kind of a balance of got to get the team ready, but also kind of have our sights set in front of us with the first opponent, which will be a significant challenge for sure.
Nick, where do you stand with the offensive line? You feel pretty confident in it?
Yeah, we have a number of players here with varying levels of experience. We've talked about that, so training camp will really be a good opportunity for us to evaluate. Be a lot of competition. I mean, games are won and lost on the fronts. So, I mean, we look across the league. So, and you build your mental and physical toughness, your physical play in training camp. So, once the pads come on, we'll have a better idea of what that looks like, what that entails. But it's been a good group to work with. They've had a good attitude. They work hard. They're coachable, varying levels of experience. I mean, Cole's done a great job with that group. So, we'll put the 5 best out there. And like I said, we'll have 8 at the game each week. How many we carry on the roster, we'll always do what we think is best for the team.
Nico talked about wanting to change the culture in that room quite a bit in the offseason with the mindset in there. Do you feel like you did that? Like, what says that you did that? How do you feel you did it?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, in the end, offensive line play is about attitude and it's about physical toughness. So, and being able to do, you got to be able to do certain number of things to, I would say, a competitive enough level. So, we'll find out. I mean, again, we have young players, we have veteran players. I think they have the right mindset. So honestly, it starts with Cole and kind of trickles down. But in the end, it's about the players and them relying on one another, them pushing one another, and being able to go out there and perform. I mean, the offensive line, really, it's about 5 players kind of playing as a unit. There's a lot of things that are involved. There's essentially communication on every play. Where's the mic identification? Who we push into? Where are the problems? Does everybody see the picture the same way? So everything kind of goes inside out, so relative to the communication. So we'll kind of see what that looks like. Understand each week's going to be a different challenge from the defense. Who we see what our defense does is going to be different than what the Rams do. So it's just understanding where the problems are, get the information communicated appropriately, and making sure we're getting the blockers distributed appropriately. There are going to be times where the defense wins, and there are going to be times where we win. So hopefully we're on the positive side of the ledger more often than not. So we'll see how it goes in training camp. Excited for that group. It's a good group, so we'll let the competition kind of sort itself out.
On the new system, the new offensive system, I know when they hired Bobby, it was kind of like a learning experience for you. You said you were learning a lot about the new system. How does your familiarity with what Kaylee does change the way maybe you are as like an asset on the offense?
Not necessarily. I mean, I'll try to stay out of the way, so just try to have an understanding of what we're trying to accomplish. I mean, offensive football in the end, it's about 3 things. It's about moving the ball, it's about scoring points, and it's about taking care of the football. So you can put whatever system you want to put on the field. That's what offensive football is about. And if you win 3-2, that's a good outcome. If you win 50-49, that's a good outcome. If you run the ball 40 times in a game and win, that's a good outcome. You have to throw it 50 times, so I think the big thing is what do we got to do each week relative to the opponent. That's what offensive football comes down to. So, again, my experience doesn't necessarily have any relevance to where we are now. We're about the 2025 Texans offense, what that looks like. And we'll find out here in training camp. We'll get a little more information. And in the end, it's about going out there and being able to move the ball and score points.
What do you like about that combination of Kirk and Higgins bringing both of those guys for CJ Stroud here?
Yeah, Kirk's got a lot of experience. He's been a productive player with his opportunities. When he's been healthy and available. So very professional, very smart. He's not just an inside the formation player. Has some position flexibility. Higgins, he's a young player. We think he has some traits and attributes that we like, which is why we drafted him. So he's got a lot of work in front of him. So he's going to face some challenges like most young players do, but I would say overall, collectively, that group, really good attitude. They're emblematic of kind of the team. I think we got a number of players on this team that are focused on work and kind of let their actions do the talking. Because in the end, everybody can talk and say, what's going to happen. We can do this. We want that to happen. But in the end, it's going to come down to the work. It's going to come down to our actions on the field, and it's going to come down to our execution. So, we feel pretty good about that group. I think we have pretty good depth. So, kind of let the competition sort itself out.
Anything different for CJ Stroud in his
offseason, and what is your hope for what he can become as a quarterback in year 3?
Yeah, I mean, CJ's had a good offseason. I mean, our expectations for him are no different than every other player. Just be the best you can be each day. Go out there and try to do the job to the best of your ability. I mean, if everybody does that and collectively as a team, we're going to be a pretty good spot. So, again, this program, and D'Amico has said it, I've said it, it's not about one player. It's not about one individual. It's not about one position. Again, we're going to need everybody at some point to do their job, and the better they can do to prepare themselves for the rigors of the season, the better off we're all going to be. We'll take one in the back there. Yep.
Out of the free agent acquisitions and the draft, you're going to feel like this team is in a position to take the next step now to see
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the next step is. I mean, we have a good football team, so we've been one of the best 8 teams in the league the last 2 years. So what's going to happen beyond that? I mean, nobody has any idea. I don't have any idea. Nobody else has any idea. Anybody that says they do is probably wrong. So can we put ourselves in a position each week to give ourselves an opportunity to win? What the end result is, I mean, honestly, we're focused on the work, we're focused on the process, and that's not going to change. So you have to put a significant amount of time and energy and effort into developing your foundation, building your football team up. And in the end, it's about what happens on Sunday. So, I mean, the focus is going to be on the Rams. Anything beyond that, I mean, honestly, it's a big waste of time. So I don't spend much time on it. D'Amico doesn't spend much time on it. We're not going to spend much time on it. I mean, that's for you all to talk about outside the building.
Nick, you love to sign your players, your best players with extensions. Can you talk about you signing an extension?
Pardon me?
Can you talk about you signing an extension?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything new to report on my end. So, I mean, again, I've never talked about anything that I've done, privately. So I love being here. Got a great opportunity. Got great support from ownership. Phenomenal head coach. Great working relationship with him. So I'm just thankful for the opportunity that I have. I mean, nothing's new. I don't have anything to report on my end. So I'm just here to kind of take it one day at a time and try to do the best I can for the organization, for ownership, for the players, and for the coaches. So as long as they have me here, I'll stay. And then when they want to kick me to the curb, then I'll go find and do something else. But love being here and grateful for the opportunity I have each day.
Is there one thing about this team you've assembled that excites you the most entering this new season?
Yeah, I want to say the attitude and the approach to work. We have a lot of guys that are very diligent, and it's about the work and not really worry about a bunch of superfluous things or things on the periphery that really don't have any relevance to winning. I might have mentioned this to Sean and Seth a little bit earlier in the spring, but just anecdotally, it was a little bit later in the spring. I want to say it was sometime in June, where our D'Amico and our offices are situated. The weight room's right behind us, and you have the window. So I hear just some random noise, and I kind of peek my head over my shoulder. I mean, Higgins and Noel were in there with their helmets on, catching off the jugs in the afternoon when nobody was around. So I would say that's kind of a microcosm of the team and the players that we have, and that's where we want to keep the focus. And I think our players are motivated more about just putting a good product out there and putting the work in, and not necessarily worry about other things that are outside of their control.
What is the improvement and development of Caserio in the second half?
Yeah, you'd be hard-pressed to find probably a player that's improved as much as Cade in the offseason. Really took advantage of his opportunities. He's always had the right mentality and the right approach and the right mindset. I think most young players going from year 1 to year 2 have an opportunity for growth and development really more physically because they kind of have a full year in the program. So as soon as the season is over, what do you do in February, March, April, May to get yourself ready for the offseason program? Cade, along with a number of other players, certainly took advantage of his opportunities. We're glad Cade is here and looking forward to potentially what he can bring to our football team.
Higgins' contract got a lot of attention kind of once off. I know you love this topic. What was your mindset on that, and do you think it's kind of overblown that y'all impacted the entire second round?
Yeah, I would say it's really much ado about nothing. I think it was a kind of fabricated story. Let's just take a step back. And again, when you're reading about this in the Wall Street Journal, everybody's got too much time on their hands. But just philosophically, when you look at, say, contracts in the second round specifically, so when you look at the top of the second round last year, I want to say those contracts were 92, 93% fully guaranteed, right? So let's just kind of fast forward, adjust for inflation a little bit. There's probably going to be some marginal increase. So let's just say the number is 3 to 5%, right? So that small margin that's left, It's a difference of, it's not that much. I mean, you guys are all smart. You can do the math. So, again, we're trying to get ahead and stay ahead on trends. Eventually, it was probably going to get there anyways. So we just felt like that was the right thing for us to do. And I think what happened after that, honestly, it was a non-story that was made into a story. But, I mean, everything kind of worked itself out. I think all of us in the league, myself included, have anticipated, at some point, probably the first 4 or 5, you're going to end up at that spot anyways. So why wait around? Why kind of bicker back and forth, go back and forth on the agents? Like, get to a resolution. I mean, I think people that kind of know me and that negotiate with me, I'm kind of a bottom line guy. So let's get to the bottom line. Let's not hem and haw. And, if we think everybody's comfortable with it, then we're going to go ahead and move forward. It didn't really impact Ursary, which is a part of the second round. I think that was more of some other factors that led to kind of the stall there. So we're always going to handle business however we see fit, try to do it logically, be pragmatic about it, try to do it in a responsible way. So, again, the off season, there's not a lot of things to talk about. So when I start being around in the Wall Street Journal, that, this is it's a nothing deal.
So you didn't change the game or anything?
No, I'm not that smart, believe me.
Your peers went bad anything?
I didn't hear anything from anybody, so.
You mentioned the attitude, the desire to work. How have you seen that kind of ingrain itself in this organization over the last couple of years and changes off-season or pro?
Yeah, football is ultimately about the players. So if you have players that walk in the building with that mentality and mindset, I would say, we're very purposeful with the type of people that we bring in the building, because in the end, they're the ones that are going to go out there and play. So you win with toughness, you win with physicality, you win with selflessness in this league. So who are the players that have those requisite qualities? We certainly prioritize that. You have to be able to play football. I'm not going to put my head in the sand and be naive to the fact you have to be able to go out there and execute your job and play football. But you can find players who are good at football and have the other traits that we prioritize and covet. So we make a commitment to that. And at times, if you feel like you're going to step outside of that, that's okay. You just want to make sure that you have a reason for doing that. So as long as you have the foundation in place, and again, when people walk in the building and they see Will Anderson, they see Jalen Petrie, they see the approach that those players have, if you walk in and aren't doing the right things, everybody's going to know. So that's part of our responsibility. It's something that we emphasize to our scouting staff, and we have one of the best scouting staffs in the league. Fortunate to work with that group on a day-to-day basis. They understand what's important, what we think wins in this league. So we're going to prioritize that, and that's our commitment to doing the right thing. And in the end, it's about doing the right thing by the players.
You guys will take a few more.
Yeah, making progress, kind of one day at a time. But Tank's had a good attitude. He's been in the building essentially every day. He's working really hard. So we're not going to put any timetables on anything. If he's ready to play, great. If he's not, he's not. So we'll kind of take it as it comes.
As someone who's been in the league for a while, what have you seen in terms of technology changing the game, and specifically as it relates to return to work?
Yeah, it's a great question. You really can incorporate it in a lot of different areas. How you watch tape, how you curate information, aggregate information, how much data you collect on the players, and really with the idea of providing them information. And so we can evaluate and look at trends and look at areas that we can improve. So, I mean, I joke with my girls about this because their father, they think it's all about efficiency, but technology is about efficiency. So it helps streamline some things. So there's a timing element. When I was a scouting assistant, you were coding beta tapes. So if you were doing 4 players, you essentially would have to go through and mark the 4 or 5 different players and then go back and create the tape. It took a long time. Now there's technology where if you want to go to a player's targets, you want to go watch certain rushes or his pressures, you can click a button and go to that. So we've seen technology integrated into football. We're, I would say, starting to keep pace a little bit with other sports. Baseball is probably the furthest ahead. Baseball and basketball, they're a little bit more static relative to what goes on kind of in a fixed element. On the field, there's a lot more variables, but some things off the field, you can incorporate it: scouting, operations, sports science. So we're always going to look at opportunities. We're not just going to use technology just to do it. Is there an application? Great. If there is and we can incorporate it, then we'll investigate it. If it doesn't work, then we'll look at something else. But it definitely has a place. Really, it has a place in all of our lives, but in football is no exception.
Switching gears with Aaron on a year rookie deal, what are you hoping to see from him, and is his play contingent upon potentially staying?
Yeah, I mean, same thing. Expectation for him: come out here, work hard, be the best version of yourself each day, and don't put any timetables on it. You know, Christian's play a lot of good snaps for us here, so you know, whenever he's ready to play and whatever he's able to do to help the team, that's what the focus is.
Where have you kind of seen the team grow the most from when you first got here to where they are right now?
I mean, I think we've improved. Hopefully, we've improved kind of the personnel, and I think we've created a team where we feel like we've given ourselves an opportunity to go out there and win each week. I mean, margins are very small in this league. I mean, 70% of the games were one-score games in the fourth quarter last year. So that's all you're trying to do is create a team that, on a week-to-week basis, you feel provides an opportunity for you to win. Doesn't mean you're going to win, but I think we have over time. We've been able to, in all areas, just bring in people that are selfless, that have the right mindset, that want to work hard, that put the team first, and are about winning. Because in the end, this league is about winning, and when you win, it makes everybody happy.
I think one more thing, John Wake's been here 15 years, it's gonna be strange seeing, not seeing that. What went into the decision to move on to the coach?
Yeah, you know, hopefully John's number will be in the rafters here. You know, when he retires from football, it meant a lot to this organization. He's made a significant impact, you know, in the community. You know, John was a free agent, so we kind of went through that process. He made a decision that, you know, he felt was in his best interest to sign with San Francisco. So wish him nothing but the best. Hold him in the highest regard. You know, meant a lot to me personally, and in the time that we were together. So, you know, wishing him and his family, you know, nothing but success, and he's always going to be a part of the Texans organization. So, I mean, I think that's a good example of, you know, the only thing that's consistent in this league is change. So, you know, John will do a good job for the 49ers. You know, we'll see him a little later in the year when we play them, but certainly wish him and his family well, and, you know, embrace him with open arms when he comes back to the Texans.
Anybody else?
All right.
All right.
Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it.